All right, we are live. Universal Leadership Course 101. Welcome. Dr. Dorena Shine here, live. Come on in. We have a nice conversation tonight speaking about decision making. And a lot of people may not resonate with the idea that there is an actual process of free will that comes from decision making. So come on in. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Come on in. Tonight is going to be an awesome conversation. November 3rd, 2025. So come on in. Universal Leadership Course 101. So we're going to get right into it. Thank you all for showing up tonight. And what I want to talk tonight about is the concept of decision making. You know, everyone in this world has what is known as free will. And when you have free will, what happens is you have the ability to make some serious life decisions, right? Yeah. You have life decisions that you can make. And those life decisions can be for the good or otherwise. So we're going to give you some processes to how to use the concepts of free will in order to make better decisions. You know, there's a process to decision making. So welcome to our Universal Leadership Course 101. This is our leadership course on decision making. So we're going to get right into it. You know, when I was teaching a course earlier, I talked about the 4 colors of decisions. Now, when we talk about colors and decisions, it's just like using a Post-it to remind yourself that you have a meeting or you have a schedule and that you want to be prompt. So you want to make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's to make sure that you don't waste other people's time or that you know what you need to bring to the presentation. So I shared the fact when I make my decisions, when I finally make a decision, I have gone through a process and I use 4 Post-it note colors. I use red, green, blue, and black. Now, we'll talk about that tonight because I think that is a very vital point in how free will should be considered, because free will, everyone has it, but they don't know how vitally important it is to make a decision that is going to be good for the future purpose. So when we talk about leadership, we're definitely talking about the mission of making people better than where they were before they met you through analyzing their leadership style, analyzing their basic functions of how they maneuver through certain circumstances, and then create for themselves the ability to make that choice clear and freely. So the first thing that I want you to know is that there are 4 processes to decision making. The first thing we want to let it be known is that the process to make a decision is more or less the foundation. You see, when you put a rock on top of another rock on top of another rock, the balance is what is necessary in order for the rock to stand the height. And when you start talking about the process, the good part about the process is that you make the decision. you make that fundamental decision. And that's where it goes down to the decision making being a process. See, when you sit back and you look at the fact that you have the free will to make that decision, any decision, whether you're going to eat a cheeseburger or a salad, whether you're going to go to this college or another, whether you're going to get involved in this relationship or the next, these are things that are going to change the trajectory of the rest of your life. So that is a foundation. That is a definite foundation. And I want you to know that no matter what decision you make, you must realize you're human. In 1 minute, in one instance, in one area of life, that decision could have been the be all, win all. Okay. But at another position in life, it could be something that's devastatingly consequential. So you have to make that decision. And we need to teach more about the purpose behind using free will. And we're going to definitely talk about that. But being human is one of the attributes of the foundational structure that you must have when making decisions. The next area is fundamental by researching and deciding if it's worth making that decision to do or not to do. And this is where my scenario of the 4 colors, the 4 colors are an attribute that lets me know that give me a moment, number one, to think it through. Free will is really not free. It's very priceless. It's a commodity that if you use it the wrong way, you'll lose it. So if you take the amount of time to genuinely sit back and analyze why you're going to make that decision through research, data, how it makes you feel, and the importance and the value of the outcome to you, that will help you conclude in the awareness of what decision you're going to be okay with making. See, many of us jump into decision making without actually looking at the fact that there may be a negative consequence or a positive success. So that's what I want to share with you tonight. And I go into the area of the research, and I say to myself, there's a positive side or a negative side that could take place with any area that I use to make a foundation to my actual decision making. So remember earlier, we talked about the 4 scripts or 4 post-it colors to a decision making style. The first is red for me, then it's green, then it's blue, then it's black. Red represents the root of it all, why I feel the way that I do. So I'm going to take a lot of my history. Now, history can include a lot of things. The foundational structures of how you were raised to think, how you were raised to handle, situations. And if you were never able to think and decide for yourself what color you were going to wear, what type of style you were going to wear your hair, if you weren't able to make those type of decisions, you'll never be able to make big life-changing decisions. You won't be able to make them. Some people will freeze in a moment of a decision. And then that's where it goes to the color coding for me. Red represents the root of it, why I feel the way I feel about a decision. And historically, yes, a lot of that is going to be grounded and rooted in what I do. Then comes green. Green is the growth, the fundamental practices, the way that I see the purpose and why I feel how I feel about decision making. And if I go back and I look at how good of a decision maker I have been prior to this next decision, it's more or less going to make me feel either more confident about making that decision or less confident. Now, sometimes people can get into a mode of a real life, hard hitting decision, and they didn't understand that they had the right to make a decision of this magnitude, and everything was on them. The weight of the foundation was on their decision making. This is where looking at the color codes will definitely help you, because you will use the things that you're rooted and grounded in, and then what you have watched grow in your life and what has been successful for you up until this point. Then you're going to make a more confident decision. Then comes the color blue, and blue resonates with me when it comes down to looking up. Just hold your head up no matter what. Don't look down. Don't get physical with it. Think higher, think more perspective based, and why you feel that way. It's kind of like going to your higher power. That's why I use blue as the stepping stone to the next action of the process and how I make a decision. And then finally, black. Black is the judge. Black is what I'm going to go with. And in the void, you can find so much truth. You can find so much revelation. You can find so much success in making a decision, along with your self-confidence, along with the free will, along with the decision making that you've made in the past. If they all line up, you're more likely to be positively, successfully impactful when you make a decision than you would if you had no clue of what to do. So these color code mentality focus points help me with the research that I come up with, right? So I come up with research. I then move my areas into implementing and designing why I am going to make this decision. So after I ask to be given time to go through my process of decision making, I am going to implement it, and then I'm going to design why I will go this way, why I will choose this way, right? The value in implementing and designing a structural platform for your ability to think rationally. Even if this is a quick, and a lot of people love to put people in quick-witted life scenario type situations to see if they're capable, if they're ready, if they have what it takes, or if they've just been a bunch of hot fluff and talk, and if they have not learned a thing. People can invest a lot of time and energy in people. And when they finally make the decision to decide on what decision they're going to make, they freeze, or they are manipulated into, coerced into a decision that looks to be good, but it was never the right decision. And that's when we take on the insight of making sure that we understand we're human, and to forgive ourselves for mistakes that we cannot take back. We cannot undo our decision, right? So when we recognize that we can't undo it, that's when it all boils down to living with whatever decision we make through our implementation and design. We have designed it, we have implied it, we have, put it into perspective in our lives. And so we have to deal with it. We have to deal with what is going on. And so by analyzing and reviewing what decisions you have made is going to help you to make even more heart thought decisions that are going to make you feel that you were worth it, that, hey, I did this. It was my decision. I did it. I can't take it back. There's nothing wrong with the way that I chose to live. And when you have taken the time to just do your evaluations, and your color code does not have to be the exact same way that mine was, but it's just a stepping stone. It's something that you can uniquely use to give you time to just think, even if it's something that you need immediate attention to and results right now. You know what I mean? It's something that you can still sit back and analyze. And if you practice daily realizing that you have the free will to make every single decision in your life, whether it is to take a shower or a bath, whether it is to brush your teeth, floss, and mouthwash, rinse, or just a quick, brush, it's up to you how you want to live your life. Whether you iron your clothes or whether you're going to just press them and, be okay with the way that you go. All of these are free will choices that we make. And it is vitally, vitally important to make sure that we analyze them and then review what decisions we made and were they worth it. And that's why I believe that there's a lot of statistical data out there that basically tells you where you are. I think statistics in universal leadership, I think statistics and data are more important than the successes that you can document, because what they do is they make you see where your weaknesses are. So if we're able to document the outcomes, strategize, and then consider the success of where we have been, it's going to help us to become a better person. In the end, it's going to help us become a better version of who we are. Not ignoring what we've gone through. No, you share your story. Your story is your testimony, your glory. That is the thing that makes you unique. And I share that in my book, Inspirational Quotes and Wisdom. But beyond that, the documentation and the outcome. One thing I share with my client base when I help them start their entrepreneur process is, do not ask for reviews on a website where everyone can see. Because what happens is, it's number one, public, and you don't know the results of what another person may feel. And when they make that decision to put out there what they feel about you, it is something that could be humiliating. It can't be taken back once the eyes see it. A lot of times people still get people from other entities and organizations, and people are in that whirlwind of the old way of looking at life. But here's what we do. We ask them to do just a basic review, a personal review. Everyone doesn't need to know. And then once you strategize the review of what you want to be seen as, you show it. That's why you see a lot of websites with nothing but good reviews, 5-star reviews. But it's good to balance it all, because don't forget, everything is genuinely a balance that is going to make you see life for what it is. It's going to definitely make you see life. Will it work for you? Is it something that is important? Or is it something that just will get you through to get more client base? But leadership is all about fundamentally making the right decision for you. So I thank you so much for viewing the Universal Leadership Course 101. You can Google Dr. Darina Shine. We're going to be promoting and prompting our ebook, and our audiobook, as well as our hard copy book. And you will be able to look at all of that for many different platforms. Facebook, most importantly, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and I will be coming up with the website in 2026, because I'm going to be selling merchandise, and I just want to do my due diligence on my statistical data. And this is what I'm talking about. When you see that you have done what you needed to have done for the betterment of yourself and your leadership course, I think it is a great opportunity for you to find a way to make it all work for you. We make it all work. Also, if you are in need of universal leadership coaching, you can definitely get in touch with me at shinedorina@gmail.com. There is no numbers, no letters, no dashes, anything that is outside of shinedorina@gmail.com. It is a false. So do not fall for it. You won't be getting the leadership that you would get here. Okay? So I really appreciate you all. I thank you for viewing this live with me. I'm going to go out with a client. I have a client who is he is very good on mixing, and he runs his own YouTube channel. Zeke, you can go and check him out. But I want you to hear what decision he made about his career and what he wants to do with his musical practice. So thank you all, and we'll see you next time.